this because I've never done it. Do
Mhm.
I stay here, like on this, what is this thing called? StreamYard?
Yes. Yep. You're just gonna stay on here, and the comments should pop up alongside. So people are coming in now.
Okay,
So,
awesome.
all right, let's see who's here. Came from the BROOM FITS Live. Hey, yes, I'm so happy you guys came over from, because we still have a bunch of giveaways to do. Bunch of talking about Soul Jumper, which is Shalana's book. It came out today as well. So exciting. You guys, hello. All right. You are amazing, Gio. Thank you so much. All right. So, hello, guys. So I'm going to start off by asking Shalana to talk about your book a little bit. Can you share like a little bit of the blurb or whatever what genre your book is and stuff?
Sure. So Soul Jumper is a young adult, new adult, I guess. New adult gets mixed reactions. So young adult paranormal romance, and the blurb on the back talks a lot about timing and meeting your soulmate. And so this book kind of toys with this idea that we have life after death. So Kaitis is a soul, so he's dead, and this is far from contemporary romance. And he uses other people's bodies to stay connected to the living, and the kind of tension there, I guess, is that if he doesn't give their body back after 3 days, that person dies. And so when he meets his soulmate, obviously there's a lot to overcome to make that relationship happen.
Yeah. That sounds so good. I am so excited for this book. Oh my goodness. What was your favorite part about writing it?
Well, that's hard. I think if you watched the video I posted yesterday, this book for me is really personal. It's almost a little bit too personal. It's kind of scary. But I think that was honestly one of my favorite parts too, is it helped me work through a lot of like fears and stuff and things that were my own. And that was a really cool experience. And I hope that it can do that for other people too.
Yeah. Oh, I love that so much. I feel like with me, sometimes it's hard to like kind of write about my personal stuff just because it is so personal. So that's what I love knowing that, because I feel like that makes reading the book so much like more, I don't know, it's cooler. It's not more cool, so much cooler. All right. So do you have any giveaways that you wanted to do? I forgot to ask.
Yes, I do. So I have 3 of them for this video. And then also just really quick, I have 2 happening on my Instagram page. You can find them on Facebook too. And so those ones are pretty big giveaways because I got to team up with some people. So check those out if it's something that you're interested in. The ones for here, we've got a $25 gift card to Amazon, which will just be emailed. So that's fun. That was also donated to me, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And then an ebook copy, so I can send that out. And I also want to do a paper book copy, and with the paper book, I'll send the little character art and the bookmark as well.
Nice. Okay, so do you want to do one of the giveaways like first?
Yeah. Okay. I tried to think of things that people would know if they followed me. It's hard to come up with questions, and so I think for the $25 Amazon gift card, I don't even know. Let's see if people know. Where is Soul Jumper set? What is the setting of the book? I posted a lot about it on my Instagram.
It's always so hard for me to come up with giveaway questions too, because I never know like what's a good question or what's too obvious. You know, I struggle. Ugh. All right.
I'm trying to read comments too.
Gio has a question for both of us. So what was the first Easter egg or kernel of inspiration that you got for your story? So what first inspired you?
to honestly fear. And so when I say this book is really close to me, it is. I've always been very afraid of dying, and so I wanted to confront that and kind of face it, and that's where the inspiration for this book really started.
Wow. Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that so much. I think for me, where I got inspiration from for If the Broom Fits was, I think I mentioned it, it was on Pinterest, where I was scrolling on Pinterest for like Halloween stuff, and I found the title. It said, If the Broom Fits, Fly It. And I'm like, If the Broom Fits, that's kind of cute. Like, it's like if the shoe fits, but not. I'm like, ooh, that'd be cute for like a Halloween romance. Ooh, I should write one, you know? So I think that's where mine came from.
I love that. And I love how sometimes that's all it takes. Like you see a picture or you hear a song and it's a whole thing then.
For sure, for sure. Did anybody answer the question, Shalana?
I've got a lot of people saying Texas, which I think I mentioned Texas, but it's not where it's set.
Oh no.
So we'll pick somebody though. Let's see. Who's the first person that said a place?
It looks like it was Maya. Is this an international giveaway?
It can be, because I just have to send it, email it.
Sounds great.
So let me write her name down. But Soul Jumper, just for fun, is set in Flagstaff, Arizona.
Ooh.
And I love that. And I posted on my Instagram page this comparison between Flagstaff and a snow globe. And if you haven't been to Flagstaff, it's beautiful and it's really fun to describe.
Really? I love that. Okay, so I guess I'll do my other ebook giveaway right now while we're doing giveaways. So my question, I only wrote 5 questions, so I'm gonna have to figure out one on the fly. But the question for the ebook is, for any ebook of your choice, is what are my 2 short stories called? We mentioned it on the last live stream. So if anybody remembers, this one's a bit harder because, I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't know. I never know if it's a too hard of a question or, Shalana, who was your favorite character to write in your story?
Well, I love this. And it's fun because I think a lot of people assume you'll pick one of your main characters, but my favorite character to write in this was Martin, and he is actually Selexa's butler, but also takes a father figure role for her. Mm-hmm. And so being able to write that relationship and kind of see their dynamic, it was really fun for me. I liked him a lot.
Yeah, I think it's fun exploring with the dynamics. For If the Broom Fits, I wrote my first grandmother figure. Well, she is a grandmother. I wrote a grandmother for the first time, and it was so fun to kind of just play around with that and how much different that would be from a parental kind of relationship. And it's fun to just find the differences and stuff, you know?
It is, and to see, I think it gives a whole new dimension to characters when you see how they interact with different people in their life. So that's really fun. For sure.
All right. So the one who won the giveaway was, let me find it. It was a Word Master. Very, very, I don't know. It's very, very fun. Great job. If you can DM me on Instagram, if you have an Instagram, your email and which ebook you would like, I'd love to send that over to you. And you are totally okay. No worries. No worries. We still have. Oh no, you're. I'm gonna be doing way more giveaways on my Instagram page. So make sure you guys are following me on Instagram because so many more giveaways are to come for sure. There's one coming, I think Friday. Is it Friday? I'm not sure. I'll have to look. I have it written down somewhere. So. I love grandma. Yeah, she is so sweet. I kind of modeled her after my grandma, so a little bit. My grandma's a little bit like, I don't know. She's sweet. They're both sweet. But all right. So I wanted to ask, how long did it take you to draft this book until it's completed, until it's published?
Well, it took a long time. When I started like actually doing this seriously 2 years ago, and so I'd say it took probably about 18 months to get like through edits through the first draft, and I went through a lot of edits. And so it definitely took a long time, but I also learned a ton, and so I'm definitely taking that with these next books, and it's going a lot faster.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one definitely took a while.
Nice. Do you want to stick to this genre for a while, or do you have plans to branch out?
So I definitely, I don't want to say completely branch out, because the books I'm working on right now are still romance, and this is very heavily romance focused, but it has that paranormal element.
Right.
I'm working on another one that is also paranormal. It's witches, so that should be fun, and has the romance element as well. But then I'm also writing a couple books, one of them that is supposed to come out in February. That's just a contemporary romance, and so it's all in that romantic realm. It's just a matter of, is it real life or not?
Nice. This is, yeah, she did, right? Maya did.
Yes.
So Maya, if you want to DM Shalana your email address, I think I have her Instagram linked down below. I'm pretty sure I remember to do that. If I didn't, I think it's just Shalana Battles on Instagram.
Yep.
Thought so. Perfect. Also, if you guys have any questions for Shalana, be sure to ask them in the chat box, and we'll definitely get to them. There's one other one. Oh, were you always wanting to self-publish? And I know the answer to this, but I'd love to hear the story.
No. Now that I'm here, though, I wish I would have, honestly. And just because it's been such an amazing experience, and you have so much creative power and creative freedom, and I'm loving it, and I didn't think I would. But no, I originally wanted to traditionally publish Soul Jumper. I did go through the query process, which is another reason I think it took so long to get here, because I spent months doing that, and finally got to the point where I didn't want to wait anymore. And this year's so crazy. It is so crazy, and it's a crazy time for agents and just everyone. And so I was like, nope, I want this out in the world. And honestly, I have no regrets. It was the best decision I could have made.
For sure. That's how I was too. I spent so long querying, and because the idea of self-publishing scared the crap out of me. I didn't want to do it wrong. I didn't want to be bad at it. So I just kind of put it off until I'm like, you know what? I don't think traditional publishing is going to happen right now, and I don't want to wait. So I might as well just bite the bullet and figure out how to do the self-publishing thing the right way. And it was interesting to start off, but I think I'm on a good track, I'd say.
I think you're on a great track, and you're obviously a huge part of my journey as well. And I can't thank you enough for that, because you've helped me so much these last few months, and you're amazing, and I'm super proud of you, and literally can't say thank you enough for helping.
Well, I'm so excited to be on this journey with you. So excited. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited we actually got to do this. I know it's not exactly how we initially planned. Because if you guys didn't know, we initially planned to do like a author hangout kind of thing on a Facebook event over on Facebook. And it just kind of didn't really work out, but I think this makes it a whole lot more personal, and we're going to attempt to do something like that in the future. But yeah. So I saw a question. How long does it take you to edit? I'm editing my work in progress right now, and it's taking forever. How long does it take you to edit, Shalana?
honestly, with Soul Jumper, it took a long time. I hired an editor, and I worked with her almost 9 months, but that was full passes back and forth working with her, and it was a very extensive process. But now with this second book that I'm about to send to her in a couple days, it's going a lot quicker. And I think part of that is just I can take everything that I learned from this book and apply it, so it saves us both time and things like that. And so I'd say if it's your first one, it might take a little bit longer. Don't give up on it. Stick with it, and it gets better and it gets quicker.
For sure. For me, I can very much see how I'm fortunate, because I do have a part-time job. I don't work full-time. I don't have kids. I don't have a house to manage. I live with my parents still. So I am fortunate to have more time than the average person in the writing community. So I would say my editing goes by kind of quickly. I only do, I think, 3 or 4 drafts before publication. So I kind of have a really streamlined process of what I need to do, what needs to be done. So it doesn't take me that long, but I think it's because I am pretty fortunate to not have other things that need my attention all the time. Like I work not that many days a week, you know. But I do understand how sometimes it does take a while. Like Out of My League took me, I first wrote it in 2017 and I published it like, you know, a few months ago, 4 months ago. So a few months ago. So that one took me a long time to figure out like the right pacing and the right structure that I really wanted. But I would say it's taking forever. If it's taking forever, it's taking forever probably for a reason. Because if you're still needing to edit, that's because you're not fully satisfied with the story, right? So I definitely say, even if it takes you a long time editing, I think that's still a good thing, because you know what you want to change and you're changing it and you're taking the time to do that. You know, it's not something you want to rush, is what I want to say. I don't actively rush like on myself. I just do it fast, but I definitely would say don't rush through it. And I know I don't think you would, Maya, but I do understand how it is kind of hard to keep editing after it's been so long. You know, it's hard to keep up that motivation and that like desire. Do you know what I mean?
Desire to look at it ever again.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. I didn't want to look at. I remember when I published Out of My League, I'm like, thank God I don't have to edit this anymore. I was so fed up with it. Ugh. All right. So Geo, which books are so fun? So is Paranormal. Can't wait to see it. What inspired you to write that one? Because I know I was inspired by the original Charmed series for my witch book. Very fun.
I love Charmed so much. I used to come home from school and watch that with my dad, which he would deny, but we loved that. With this one, it was weird because it's called Encampment. And when I started it, I just wanted to write a book about a witch in high school, and there be, you know, and romance and all of that stuff. And then I started writing it, and I'm telling you, this book has a mind of its own. It went a totally different direction. And I think a lot of that is, like I said, I tend to write to get through things, and just a lot of times in my writing, things dealing with loss and things like that come out, and I don't even mean for it to happen. And so I ended up deleting like the first 4 chapters of Encampment and starting where I was on chapter 5. And at this point, she's captured. So in this world, there is a guy who, I guess you could say, got his heart broken by a witch, and now he captures them and makes them fight each other and sells them and does all kinds of really horrible things. And so this book just went off the deep end by itself. But I love where it's at now. But I think the inspiration for it was just my emotional place at the time, and that just came out.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. First of all, that sounds so good. Oh my
Thank
goodness.
you. I'm
Yeah.
excited for that one.
Oh, I cannot wait for that one either. Oh my gosh. Whew. Or do you want to self-publish that one as well?
Yes, I would. So I booked my next 2 books with the same editor and have release dates for both of them. And so February will be The Man Before You. April will be Encampment. And so I'm excited.
Oh my gosh, for sure. Yay. Let's do one more question, then we can do the next giveaway for you. Let's see. Question for both of you. Would either of you ever co-write a book, not specifically with each other or just in general, like a romance told with 2 points of view? How about you?
I would love to do this. I honestly never even considered it until like a week ago. I started reading Kennedy Fox, who is a co-author pair.
Right.
And have really enjoyed her books, and the way that they do it, you can't even tell that it's 2 people, so they are great at it. And I have started thinking about that in the last week. Like, it would be super cool to pair up with somebody and write something, and even if you could have, you know, back and forth point of views between 2 main characters, I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah. I think as of right now, I think I'm just so much of a control freak that I don't think I would thrive with it. Because I thought about it too. I watch Courtney's videos on YouTube, and I'm thinking, okay, I can see how it'd be fun to have like several books out in a year. And I mean, I have several books out in a year, but like they pump books out like nothing because there's 2 of them and they have a streamlined process. So I'm like, okay, that could be fun. And I'm like, you know what though? If they had a idea that I didn't like, what would I do? Or if I had an idea that they didn't like, if they said they didn't like it, well, how would I feel? I don't know, maybe one day, but as of right now, I really can't see myself doing it. I don't know. Maybe I just haven't met somebody that I feel like I'm like 1000% on the same page with, in the same genre and everything, you know? Maybe one day. I think it could be fun, but I'm just not sure how it would go with me. I don't know. Okay, so do you want to do another giveaway?
Yeah, let's do the ebook copy, which can be for anyone because it can be emailed. Let's see. Okay, this one you will definitely know if you've seen any of my social media. How many kids do I have?
While they're answering this, I'm gonna go through this one. This one's you don't have character art, do you, Shalana? Or do you?
I do.
Oh.
I don't know if you can see it or if it's in focus.
Oh, that's so cool. So where did you get yours done?
Fiverr, is that how you pronounce that? I always feel like I'm saying that wrong.
I got mine done with I don't know what her last name is. It's Catnip Illustrations. She has a channel on YouTube. She doesn't take commissions anymore. It was kind of funny because I emailed her about this Halloween commission I wanted her to do, asked her to do, and she's like, well, I don't really do commissions anymore. Here, I can give you a few recommendations. Like, no, she said I'm taking a break from it. And I was like, okay, you know, like when you'd be like back from your break? And she's like, well, I can see you really want me to do this, so I think I can make an exception. I was like, thank God. Because I really wanted them done in her character, like, you
style.
Know, yeah. So I have a picture right here. Because if you guys haven't seen it, this is how she does her characters. And I just love how like cartoon-like they are and how cute and well detailed. So I'm like, okay, Blair and Lucas would be adorable for one thing, you know? So I'm like, thank you so much. Like, you're the best. I'll tip you extra, I promise. Like, oh my goodness. So that's coming soon. I can't wait to share it. All right. Here, I'm going to ask this question too, because I don't want to skip any questions because I'm afraid I'll lose it. But here's this one.
I love answering questions.
It's so fun. Do you have any advice on writing romance?
I think very similar to Sarah is if you can kind of get in that headspace, it's really important. If you can write scenes, I don't know what's happening here, that you can relate to, do that, put yourself in that moment. And it sounds really stupid, but there's times where I will talk myself through a scene, like you're talking to yourself. People would think you're insane if they watch you do it. But it helps with the dialogue. It helps with what would sound weird out loud if you actually said it. And then I rely really heavily on, like I said, things I can relate to, moments in my life that I can draw on to create those moments in the book.
Yeah, for sure. I think it really helps. All right. Would you consider yourself a plotter or a pantser or hybrid plantser type of writer?
I am probably 98% pantser. I literally never plan anything. I sit down and I write and I just go, and that's kind of how it happens. The only exception for me ever has been I just got this idea for a series, and so I've written some notes. I wouldn't even call it planning, like just to keep each story separate and making sure that it's 4 different stories in the series, and there's not so much crossover that it's like the same character. But aside from that, no, I don't plan.
Yeah, I'm literally the same way. I am not much of a planner at all. So I'm not a discovery writer. I don't write knowing like certain plot points. So it's all planned out in my head. I don't do an outline or anything like that. So if I had to say something, I would say maybe a plantser, but I'm more of a pantser than a plotter for sure. All right. So I'm just gonna kind of keep going a little bit quicker because hang on. Well, we'll answer this one, then I'll go down because I feel like I'll balance it out better.
I haven't seen the answer yet to my question, so we're good there.
Sounds good. Do you use an editing company or a freelance editor? Who would you suggest?
I found my editor originally on Reedsy. She is a freelance editor, but she worked for a lot of years, I think like 10, 15 years as an editor for like an actual company. So she's got a lot of experience. I am using her on my next 2 books. I absolutely adore her. Her name is Laura Latuple. If you reach out to me, if you need an editor, I can definitely send you her contact information.
I found mine on Reedsy as well. The cool thing about Reedsy is that the prices may be a little bit higher, but most of the editors do come from professional publishing backgrounds. That's what I've found. The editor that I'm working with, her name is Rachel Solomon, and I don't remember if she's got professional publishing background like in editing sense. I think so. I'm not totally sure. But she works with editors because she is a professionally published author. I think she has background because she's really good at what she does. So professional background, which makes them a great to have for your book. I've never used an editing company. I definitely would go through Reedsy if it were me, because that's where I've only gone. I think I've used 3 editors from Reedsy, and they're all amazing. But I would definitely love to have Rachel all the time.
And the good thing too about Reedsy is, at least when I did it, and I'm sure it works like this for most people, is you can break it up so you don't. Sometimes it is expensive, like what Sarah said, but you don't usually have to do that all at one time.
Right. Yeah, that's what I love about that too. All right, so I'm gonna go down. So,
I see Blair Bates.
Blair Bates. It's 1, right?
Yes, I have 1 little boy.
Yay! I thought so. It's fun because I know the answers to these, but I can't say them. My final answer: you have 1 son. Cute.
I love it. So yes, please send me an email and I will send you an ebook.
Yay. All right. So I have one more paperback to give away, but I don't know what question I want to ask. I have no idea. I'm trying to think like really quick on my feet. But you know what? Let's see. This is going to be the only giveaway, so unless you guys want to pay international shipping, I'm fine with that. But what is my middle name? Why not? All right. So we have Nikki here. Hello, Nikki. Lolly's here as well. It is totally okay. Totally okay. I'm glad you can make it. I'm glad you could pop in and say hello. Gio says Charmed is the best. Who is your favorite character out of curiosity?
Oh, I loved Piper and Leo. Again, romantic all the way here. And so I love them too, and I loved their journey on the show. They were really fun.
Very fun. I've actually never watched it, so I'm like not
so good.
I know I'm not good, but I'll have to watch it. I'm not much of a TV watcher anymore. I think it's just because I've been so busy that like ugh. All right, let me scroll up and let me see. Here we go. I wrote my current work in progress in university. I have grown so much as a writer and a person since then, which is one reason I think it's taking a while to change. I get you. That would be hard, especially when it's been over such a long period of time and you're changing at the same time.
Right. Well, and when you change as a person, your writing changes. And even going from Soul Jumper to writing The Man Before You, I know my writing's better. And I know a lot of that comes with life experience and age and different things and where you're at in your life. And so, yeah, I think that's a huge factor.
For sure. The Unwanted Book Club. Congratulations, each of you releasing the book. Yes, best feeling ever.
Thank you.
Sure. I told my mom today, it's like my birthday. You know, today's like my birthday, and she's like, you can't have 4 birthdays in 1 year.
I like watch. I've watched.
For sure. With co-writers, is a husband and wife team. Oh, very fun.
I write a blog with my husband, but I don't know if I could write a book with him.
Oh my gosh. I couldn't even imagine. I feel like if I don't know. I couldn't imagine. Kind of why I don't know if I could do an co-authorship. Although my BF and I started a horror series together because I'm a terrible reader out louder, so I'm trying, but that could be fun.
No food. My son.
I definitely agree, though. Reality is much creepier. I like paranormal kind of horror. Reality horror freaks me out. Let me see. I can't wait for Blair and Lucas. Oh my gosh, yay! Oh really? That actually, I don't know. It kind of surprised me. I was afraid nobody would like Blair and Lucas, at least not as much as they liked the other two. I kind of mentioned that in the past stream, like an hour ago, that I wasn't sure if people would like Lucas and Blair, at least Lucas, more than anybody else, any of my other boys. But that makes me so excited, Katie. Yay! I actually have the sketch of the character art already. I don't have it colored in yet, but the sketch it's beautiful. Romance needs to have more compatibility in fiction today. Chemistry is more than just sex. I agree.
Yes.
I agree. All right. For editing. Oh, so it is REEDSY, right?
Yes.
It's spelled weird.
It is spelled weird. But they do fun stuff. They post a lot of like helpful blog posts and stuff too.
For sure. Yeah, I'm set up for their newsletters, like subscriptions and stuff. Oh, so good. And yes, you won that one as well. Good job. Great job. If you want to DM me your address as well and who you would like that made out to. Okay, I'm gonna write that down. Okay, cool. You guys are so good. You love me. You know my middle names. I love you guys so much. I always like the name Annette. Oh, that is pretty. Hang on, let me scroll up real quick. Is that the one we were talking about? Was that like for the middle name, Katie? I think so. But need to go. Thank you so much for coming and popping in, Maya. We love chatting with you.
Thank you.
Yay. Yeah, you're allowed to enter because I don't know if there was that many people. So, it's okay. I think you mentioned it once. Oh, it's okay. Totally okay. It's actually my username on Instagram, so but you're good. And then it's okay too. It's so fun. All right. Here we go. Oh no, I knew someone who went through a trauma, had to face a trauma, heal from the trauma, all while changing the writing according to during the wow. I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah.
That would be absolutely insane. Too difficult for me for sure. Also, although if you know them personally, like give them a hug for us because they're doing great. They're killing it.
Definitely.
Not sensitive to say, but doing great. Why not? There's really I don't think there should be. I'm just saying. I don't think there should be. Just going to bed. Saw your live. Oh, thank you so much. We are so excited that you're here and could pop in and say hello. Very fun. All right. So. Let's see. Oh, we are. That's so cute. I love it so much.
I thought it was fitting.
For sure. They do it does do that sometimes. I don't know why. They do show up out of order on stream. I know when they do, which is super annoying because when you do like comments first kind of giveaways, it's harder to find out. I guess I could have had my YouTube app open, but it might be off. I don't know. Also, if you guys didn't win something you were wanting to, like I said, I'm definitely going to be doing more not live streams, giveaways soon because I have a lot of copies to give away. So no worries, you guys. Have you ever written a male virgin? I'm about to write one, but not sure where to start.
Wow. I guess technically Kitus in Soul Jumper would be that because he died young. And so yes and no. And I write pretty much exclusively from a male perspective, which is kind of, I don't think you get that a lot usually with female writers. And so what I did for some of those like tougher scenes where I wasn't 100% sure what the emotion would be is I asked. And so I would ask male friends. Sometimes I'd ask my husband. It just depended on what the emotion was and what I had questions about. So I would say don't be afraid to ask people, tell them, hey, I'm writing this book. If you were in this situation, if this was to happen, what do you think your reaction would be?
Right. From a sex perspective, I don't write sex. So I guess I've never really thought about my main characters being virgins or not. At least I've never thought about it enough that it would affect who the character is kind of at its core. I can totally understand why if you're like writing a book with sex in it, it would be important to kind of know how to work that. If anybody in the chat has any tips for Brittany, please feel free to share because I unfortunately can't give them any tips because I don't know. But I don't write it. So I've never really thought about it before. But yeah, that's a good question. Really good question. Let me see if I have any other questions to ask you, Shalana. How do you come up with character names?
Oh, well, I'm a weirdo. I've always kept a list of names that I love. And most of the time I just take them from that list of names that I just like the sound of, or that, I'd be like, oh, I would name my kid this, and go off of that list. And then sometimes I just see them places. I saw a name somewhere the other day that was Bright, and so I definitely plan to use that name in the future. So yeah, something that either I see somewhere online or just names that I like and won't be able to use because I can't have a bajillion children.
No kidding. I was kind of mad because I knew that I wanted to use Destelle as a character name, but then I'm like, that would be such a cute name for a baby girl. Like, come on, now I can't use it because
it's off the table now.
Yeah, what was I thinking? What the heck? Okay. Kaylee, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, no worries. No worries on being late. But we're so glad you're here anyway. Yes. Do you want to do another one of your giveaways, Shalana?
Sure. So this one is the paperback copy, and I'll stick a bookmark and the character art in there as well. I don't know what to ask.
Also, if you guys have any questions, be sure to ask them as well. If you have any more questions.
Yes, please. We'll see if anybody knows this. Maybe there's somebody on here that follows me on Instagram. So I am doing a donation project with my paperbacks. Who am I donating to? We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Brenna says, I used my husband to get the male perspective in my writing. I wanted the males to be masculine, so I had him read certain things to make sure it'd work. Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Also, congratulations. Happy release date to you too. Thank you so much. I can't believe it's almost over. My goodness. Crazy. Man. Let me see. I feel like I have another question I wanted to ask, but I can't remember what it was.
I had somebody ask me this question, but I wanted to see what you had to say about it. So I was going to ask you later, but I'll just ask you on here. So they asked me, what was my biggest lesson from writing and self-publishing my first book? And so going back to What a Friend's For you, what would you say the biggest thing that you learned was?
Oh my goodness. What is the biggest thing that I learned? What was yours?
So for me, I answered it in a video that I'm going to post later, but it's okay. I don't mind. But I said the biggest thing I learned through the whole process was to trust myself, because I feel like when you are new at this and you're getting feedback from, editors and beta readers and everyone, it's really easy to be like, oh, I have to make all of these changes. And no, you don't. Trust yourself and trust your ability and your direction that you want to see the story go. And so I think for me, that was the biggest learning thing for me, was just to trust myself.
Yeah. I actually had a conversation with somebody the other day about that, about how it's tricky because you kind of feel like you want to do all the beta reading feedback,
Yeah.
But it doesn't always work. I think for me would also be kind of like a mindset thing. Is to kind of tell myself, it's hard for me to, especially in the beginning, it was hard for me to have like other opinions on my work. And when you publish, you're going to get other opinions. People are going to say your dialogue sounds like a 12-year-old wrote it. Somebody's going to say that they don't like the main character. People are going to have their own opinions because they have their own life experiences. And I think for What a Friend's For, that was a major thing that I had to accept was that I need to kind of just, acknowledge the fact that I did everything that I could. Kind of from there, it's hard to really accept it starting out. I'm on book 3 and it's still kind of difficult, but I think just accepting that you did the best you could, it's like the best that you could put out, you enjoy what you put out, and I think that's enough. So
yeah, I'm nervous for that part because you do get a lot of perspectives.
Yeah, especially on Goodreads. Yeah, I try not to go on there anymore. Just because, I think
Okay, I will. Just a second.
I think it's easy to kind of get discouraged about those kinds of things too, and it can always kind of like shake you up on your writing journey. But sometimes it's important to read feedback, so it's kind of like a give and take kind of thing. Do you see who answered your question first? If anybody answered?
Yes. So Katie Marie answered it, and then Blair Bates got the entire correct title. So I will send it to both of them. Just send me your information.
Yay! All right. Let's see. We have a few more questions, and then we can. Oh, it's getting close to the top of the hour anyway. I'm releasing my first book in November. Any advice for someone without much of a following? Do you all just use promotions or ads? Any particular groups you'd suggest?
I think I'm still figuring this out. I don't have a huge following either, and so I would say, I've watched a lot of different things and read things on how to build followings and what to do, and Sarah has one about building following on Instagram, and so I've watched a lot of those things and tried to model what I'm doing after those things. And Sarah's probably the better one to answer for this. And then I'd say also participate. That's the biggest thing I think that has helped me, is being active in the writing community. And if you want people to support you, support them.
Exactly. And that's honestly the same thing that I would say. I published my first book when I had kind of a decent following on Twitter. So I think, and I don't think I had much on Instagram or on YouTube at all at that point. But like Shalana said, if you were to just interact and kind of build that community up as much as you can, your favorite author, kind of, like she said, model what they want to do, what they're doing, I should say. I think ads for me are a definite lifesaver. I use Facebook ads. I don't use Amazon ads. I found promoting, like doing the promote button on Instagram doesn't work that well. There's not much of a conversion for me. But Facebook ads are really good. And I kind of I think I credit Facebook ads to a lot of the takeoff for my book. I think yeah, I would definitely say Facebook ads. I know a lot of people don't like Facebook ads, but I think in terms of marketing that way, definitely Facebook ads. And as far as groups go, Anna, I can't remember if you mentioned what genre you write, but there are some groups on Facebook that like do newsletter swaps, and that's really great. So even if you don't have that big of a newsletter, people still want to like swap and promote other books in your newsletter. That can open your book to new audience of readers. So.
It's not fair.
I struggle a lot with dialogue. Do you have any tips?
Dialogue.
Hello.
Dialogue is hard, I think, for everyone. And for me, it's not even the actual dialogue, it's the what happens directly after the dialogue that's hard for me. And so, because I feel like I'm always like, okay, what do they do with their hands, or what's the movement, or what's the action that happens directly after they speak?
Yeah.
That's the hard part for me, and making it seem realistic and like it would happen that way. And so I think for tips, kind of what I said a minute ago is play it out. If you have to actually talk through it, do that and kind of mimic your descriptions after what it is that you're actually doing. And also, you can look at those types of things in other places. You can see it in movies, something visual, music video, whatever the case may be, and kind of use that to help you picture it, I guess.
Yeah, I'd actually say the same thing. Talk it out, kind of mimic what you would say and what you would act upon. Because if you're imagining what, like, say the love interest says something to you, like how would you react if somebody said that to you? Like, would you like raise your eyebrows? Would you like scrunch your eyebrows? Would you know what I'm saying? That really helps for dialogue tags. And in terms of dialogue, how would you respond? You know what I mean? I think a lot of authors kind of do like cheesy kind of things because they don't think about how it would really sound in conversation. A lot of authors, that sounded really bad, but like some authors, I should say, because they'll say, oh, I think this works. But when you say it out loud and act like you're talking to someone, it really does help you see, okay, maybe this long word doesn't sound natural in a conversation. Do you know what I mean? Because you might have it, and then you say it out loud, and it's like, wow, that's a mouthful. Would she really say it like that? Or would she say it something more casual? Do you know what I mean?
Right, 100%. Read the dialogue out loud.
Yes, because then you'll see if it, you know what I mean? And kind of saying it out loud, too, would help could help spark you to know how you want to proceed with the conversation. Because sometimes it's hard to get into a conversation, then keep it going.
And I think sometimes, maybe the first time you write it, it is unrealistic and it's awkward and it doesn't sound great. But for me, sometimes just getting it on the page, so I know what I want to happen, even if it isn't fleshed all the way out. So do that too. Write it even if you know, okay, this ain't gonna be the final version, but this is generally the conversation. And then you can kind of go back and play with it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I struggle with being descriptive of the scenes, like being aware of what's around my main character. Any suggestions?
Oh, I'd say this one's easy to fall into because it's easy to get tunnel vision with main characters and forget completely that there's like supposed to be a setting and stuff and other things. I don't know. What would you say?
Honestly, I always have to go back and first half, it's like a blank room. Like, you know what I mean? There's hardly anything because I'm just so focused on getting the story down. So I always have to go back, and I actually make that a separate step for that reason. So I'll read through a chapter just to look at describing the scene because I know I did such a terrible job with it in draft 1. And having like a focused step for that really helps you to kind of be more aware of those kinds of things. You know what I mean? Helps you with when you come to change it. Because I read through the draft that one focus in mind. So that just helps me keep on track.
I think that's really a good idea.
I write urban fantasy. I belong to an authortube. Yeah. Oh, of course. I really do think I think there's a group for fantasy newsletter swaps. I feel like I've seen them, and I know there's definitely groups for romance because I'm in them. But that's definitely where I kind of started to as well, just swapping books on newsletters, because usually people, even if you have a small newsletter, people don't mind because they just want to build those connections, you know?
Mhm.
So, and another, I think it's called Story Origin, is what I use for other newsletter swaps as well. It's like the same thing as Facebook with the Facebook groups, but one site for it. So look up Story Origin if you guys haven't already, and it's really helpful. Okay. Any last questions? I have one more to look at. Was that all of your giveaways, or Shalana, or did you have one more?
No, I think that was all of them for on here. And then, like I said at the beginning, if you go to my Instagram page, I have 2 running right now. One of them is a paperback copy with the character card and the bookmark, and a keychain from Sassy and Safe, which it's beautiful. I wish I could win this giveaway. And then I have another one, same thing, paperback, all that. And it comes with a bunch of like hair products, Monet products. And I think both of those come with gift cards as well. I think one of them's $10 and one's $25. So those are on my Instagram page over there.
Great. Yay. And like I said, I'm pretty sure I have it linked down below too. What are your thoughts on Wattpad?
I have very little experience with this. I've read things on it. I've never posted anything on it. I'm kind of, I don't know if paranoid would be the right word about where I post things. And so I mean, aside from reading on there, I don't have a lot of experience.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I don't really have experience with Wattpad. I have a page with books on there, but I just post them. I didn't do any kind of marketing or connections like you're supposed to do on Wattpad. I have no idea how that works. I say if you are comfortable with putting your book out there and getting feedback on it, go for it. I have books on there right now that I don't really plan on publishing in the future. That's why they're on there, because I never really planned on publishing them. But if I did plan on publishing something, I don't know if I'd put it on there. But it's totally up to you. I have the first few chapters of What Are Friends For on there, but that's already published, and so I wasn't too worried about it. But yeah, it's really up to you. I think it's fine. I think it's great if you kind of want to just branch out with your writing a little bit and see, like, grow your craft. I started out on a site very similar. It's called Quotev. So, yeah. And do you think romance can work with science fiction?
100%. I think romance can work with science fiction. Soul Jumper kind of walks that line, honestly, because of the kind of things it deals with souls and life after death and things like that. X-Files. I love the X-Files. And people will argue that that's not romance, but it is. And so I think it could work amazingly together. And there's some people that do that really well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I wrote a book about like space and aliens and stuff, which is kind of like science fiction, kind of like paranormal, you know, but it definitely, I think the romance worked well in it. So definitely, you can add romance to almost anything and it works. I feel like, maybe, you know what I mean? I feel like if you tried, I think you could, because you can add romance to horror, like, for who said it? Somebody else. I think was it you, Blair, who said that? I have a terrible memory. You know what I mean? You can add romance to a lot of things, and it works. Okay, so I think that's the last of our questions. Thank you guys for coming and celebrating our release day with us.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, it has been a great day. I had a great time talking with you all. I had a great time talking with you, Shalana, for our first like face-to-face chat. I loved it.
Thank you so much. It was so much fun.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you guys so much for coming. Go follow us on our Instagrams. Like I think ours both. I don't. There's links. She's Shalana Battles. I'm Sarah Sutton. Come find us. And if you won the giveaways, don't forget to claim your prizes by DMing us. And like Shalana said, there's a giveaway on her Instagram, so don't forget to check that out. I'll have giveaways for the next, they're coming. I don't have them planned. Or they do. They're not by me. They're written down somewhere else. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming, and we will see you next time. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye.